I'm going back to CATA. 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 I'm going back to CATA. I don't think so. You guys, you don't know how bad I wanted to use that song for my intro, but the last thing I need is LL Cool J showing up to my house all pissed off. And I can't afford to buy the guy a new gold chain, so I'm going to have to use my royalty-free music for my intro. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, I really wanted to use my going back to CATA, royalty fees. They're no fun. Well, I guess I should start at the beginning. Welcome, friends, to the Gamer Down. This is your host, Dark Hostess. And if you've been a long-time viewer of my channel, then you know that I've been talking about going back to WoW, going back to Cataclysm. I quit WoW last November, and it's been, 6 months now? Yeah. And I've just now fired up my accounts, and I have 5 accounts. This is one of my backup accounts. This isn't my main account. It's quite a bit of cash for me to restart WoW because I'm multibox, and it's 5 copies of Cataclysm, and that's quite a chunk of change. That's one reason I've kind of held off of it for so long, And also I've been exploring Rift, and really, Rift is just something else. You hit such a huge wall in Rift once you hit 50, and a lot of people say that about WoW as well, but there's just a lot more to do in WoW than there is in Rift. If you notice, there's not all these people promoting Rift on YouTube. There's very few Rift channels. There's a bajillion WoW channels. And one reason is there's just really not very much to show in Rift. You can only show a dungeon run so many times of the 5 dungeons they have, or the 2 raids they have. You can only watch that so much. And nobody wants to see people doing dailies or just, the dungeons over and over. And that's really all that is left in Rift, is just grinds. You can either grind reputation, grind dungeons, and that's about it. And, a lot of people say, well, that's all that's left in WoW, but there's so much more in WoW, because it has such, so many old dungeons and things you can explore with rewards worth it, I spent so much time in WoW, like farming the Zul'Gurub mount, with the raptor and the tiger way back when. It took me 9 months, and it wasn't, exactly fun, but it was a goal that, once I accomplished, I felt very good about it. And not to mention the 450 Baron mount runs I got, to get that mount I did it on the old drop rate. So I'm going to start up this Going Back to CATA series, and I know a lot of people left WoW right when Cataclysm started, and they left for various reasons, and one of the main reasons I feel was the disparage between Wrath of the Lich King and the wait for Cataclysm was just so long, and people were just so burnt on Wrath that they just, they're just like, screw this grind, it's time to move on to other games. And a lot of people moved over to Rift and have moved over to other MMOs, but, WoW's not going anywhere. It's going to be here as long as they want it to be here, as long as Blizzard wants it to be here. There's no WoW killer. And a lot of people like Totalbiscuit, they say, like, well, WoW is slitting their own throat right now, but, they're really not. They really aren't. And I respect Totalbiscuit, and I respect all of his views, and, he's a genius, and it's just, I think that he's kind of using this patch as an excuse to leave WoW. Do you know what a commitment it is to do an Azeroth daily? That is a giant commitment to put out a video every single day. That is just, it's like being chained to the wall or something, because you have to put out that video every day, and especially with him, he has so much pressure on him with so many people. So, I think this was his way to break free from WoW. I think he's wanted to do that for a long time, and I think it really has very little to do with the patch. And even like he said, Totalbiscuit said in his video with Jesse Cox, Terraria number 4 or 3, I believe, and how that they, like he was playing a game or not playing a game, but and doing Azeroth daily, and it's really if your heart's not where your work is, and he said he hasn't even been playing WoW for ages really, and he's just been doing the Azeroth daily for the fans, and which I appreciated. I appreciated every Azeroth daily. I loved every single one of them, and I hated to see it end, but I can totally understand why it ended, because it's a hell of a lot of work, and TB, he's really milked WoW for everything it's worth for him, and it's probably time for him to maybe branch out, but it leaves a gigantic open space here, without the daily blues and his vast knowledge. It really kind of sucks, because I loved hearing his reflections upon, the forums and things like that and the changes. And with that being said, I'm not going to be Totalbiscuit. I can't be Totalbiscuit. His shoes are way too big for anybody to fill, I believe. There's only one Totalbiscuit, and which is such a shame that he's left WoW, because nobody is going to be able to replace him. It's a big shame. But this series I'm doing here, going back to CATA, what it's about and what it's for and who it's for, is for people who've been away from WoW and are maybe curious what's going on these days, and are maybe thinking about going back to CATA themselves. I have a lot of work ahead of me to get this together. Like I said, I have 5 accounts, and I have to go and make touch base with people I haven't talked to for 6 months. And like my main character, he's in the very top rating guild on my server here, and I haven't talked to anybody for like 6 months, and I have to touch base with those guys and see what they're doing, and plus all my guys are 80th level, which means I have to get to 85 times 5, but it's not as bad as it seems, when you're playing 5 characters at the same time. And also, I would like to introduce people to the multi-boxing lifestyle as well, and see what they're missing. Really, if it's totally worth saving up and buying 5 copies of WoW, and if you have the computer to do it and everything like that. Multiboxing is so much fun, and it's a completely different play style. When you conquer a heroic dungeon by yourself, you really feel like you've done something. And not to mention, you don't have to deal with pugs, and you don't have to deal with a lot of things. This series, it will be fairly regular, and I will probably have an episode out a week at least. I won't have an Azeroth daily for sure. I won't have an episode of WoW out every day, and just to let other people know that this will not affect my Rift coverage, and it will not affect my coverage of other MMOs, because there's a lot of other MMOs out there. There's not just WoW, there's not just Rift, and I like to explore them all, and I like to check them all out. And there's a lot of awesome ones coming up, like Guild Wars 2. I'm going to be checking that out, that. And Star Wars The Old Republic. Oh, God. That is going to be so amazing. You guys don't even know. You don't even know. So, with those things on the horizon, and what I plan to do here is, maybe go and just see how things have changed since Wrath of the Lich King, and see how much fun there is left in WoW for me. I've played WoW since beta, and I just wanted to get away from it. I had got so burnt at the end of Wrath of the Lich King that I just wanted to get away from WoW and wanted to do something else. And I played Rift for quite a while, and I've pretty much milked as much of it out as I can. I'm already looking for something else, and I haven't experienced Cataclysm. So join me for this reunion, so to say. Looking back at some of these old areas, some of it is a little disappointing, like seeing this area here changed. I love the way it used to be. So be sure and keep an eye out for the new episodes. It's going to take a while to get things together. Take care.